We get started. Gotta read some more.
Yep.
Okay, we are on and ready.
Okay, call to order our meeting of the Rush Conservation Board for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. Has everybody read our minutes?
Very thorough.
Roll call? Roll call?
Oh, roll call. Sorry.
We gotta do that.
I move that the minutes be approved.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to still do?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes. So you mentioned the minutes and I was thinking this.
That's, all right. So Chairman Watson,
Here,
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Here.
Member Woolever,
Here.
Member Hoke,
Here.
Member Kraus.
Here.
And Town Liaison Kais.
here.
All right, now we can go for the minutes. And so
Motion stated and seconded.
all right, so I will call for that.
Can I just say one thing about the minutes? So thank you, Luther, because we did write the statement to the town board and with our position on the rezoning, and you shared that with them. I was just thinking about on my way here, have they all received a copy of that statement? Should I forward that? Do you want to forward that? They should, it is something.
I think
they
it
should
could
all
come
have.
right from the Conservation Board. I represented you at the meeting, but I think it should come right from the Conservation Board. I did forward my comments to Dan, but it'd be good to come right from the Conservation Board, I think.
To the other town board members.
Maybe include the planning board
Okay,
and zoning board if you've got them all.
yep, I think I can get them all because they're all on the emails for these Zoom.
Yeah,
meetings.
right now, we're still working on getting the zoning members set up on the other 3 emails that we have for zoning board. So I will definitely, I mean, if you.
Maybe
want-
I'll send it to you
Yeah,
and you
if you
can
want to send
distribute
it
it.
I will
okay.
send it on to the town board members.
Okay,
Yep, that works then.
That's regarding what? Did I? From last
The
meeting?
Jack Moore rezoning, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I wasn't here for that.
you weren't here in December?
No.
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 That was great that you read it. At the meeting. Thank you. At the town board.
And I'll make sure, I thought I had sent it to you, to everyone.
I think you did,
Okay. It's in those emails.
but yeah,
while
it was, yeah, it was a while ago
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
It was right at the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay, so we will do the roll on the minutes. Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye.
Member Woolever,
Aye.
Member Hoke,
Aye.
Member Kraus.
Aye.
Okay,
Next meeting is scheduled for the 13th of March. I won't be here.
no.
Anybody else will be
Okay.
here?
I won't be here in April, but I can join via Zoom.
I'll be in Albany that week, but I should be back by Thursday.
So we will have it on the 13th.
Looks like,
Mhm.
Okay,
if we need to.
right, if needed. New business, do we want to do Dollar General first or this other Ellison one?
Do you?
Oh, hold on. Pat did a bit of research for us on those.
On which one?
And
Both?
Both of them. There wasn't, there's not much to say about the other.
Right, so there was, all right, so I'm gonna just give you a quick backstory on this project. She would like to subdivide her property on 7311 West Henrietta Road. So it's 2 houses down from the Tough Trucks location. We have gone back and forth. We have a trail, a major trail of conversation with her in regards to what she can and can't do with this subdivision. She would like to subdivide this property basically right down the middle through a garage slash barn. We were told by her that she had a survey and she was gonna submit to us. The survey that we originally got was just the existing house and the barn. No, I'm sorry, the barn wasn't on there, on the original survey. But it had a little driveway, kind of like going where the barn is located. I went back to her and told her exactly what we needed for even for an informal review. The planning board is going to need to see dimensions. They're going to need to see where this lot line is, where she's looking to subdivide. And we just met back with her surveyor this morning. We have another map. And everybody can actually pass it around. I did not put it out on the derivation table yet, just because he is actually going to let us know if this particular, John and I met with him this morning, and if this particular layout will work. We are not sure. We aren't sure if it's 30,000 square feet. She is looking for what sounds to be a quick sale of this subdivision property for monetary purposes.
She's looking to sell like the barn.
I was just
No.
gonna say, is the barn, she taking the barn down?
So the barn is actually, right now, the way we proposed it is basically she would share her driveway. The driveway would go straight back to
Right,
a lot behind the house.
okay,
So the barn would technically still be hers
okay,
on the main property.
okay.
I don't know if this is gonna fly. I
So-
don't, right now, as it is, I've talked with the planning board chair. I've talked with, the zoning chair, and zoning says we cannot subdivide with that barn on the property all its own, because that barn cannot be on the lot without a primary structure. She also wanted the line to go right down the middle of the barn. That will not work either. She,
See
But
that?
did
So-
you just say that now she redid it and the barn is staying in her parcel?
Yes, see that,
so
the
it would
dark
be
one
all
is hers.
behind, all the land
Is what she's
is
trying to say.
behind
Oh,
the house.
but they don't know if it's 30, it's gotta be
It's gotta
35.
be 30,000.
Oh, 30?
30, yeah.
Now, have there been perk tests or?
Well, here it says
She
it's
has not
38.
done
But that's the whole-
anything
isn't
to
that the
even
whole-
determine
Oh, that was the
whether or not
blue
this can
line.
be done. In fact, like I said, we just met with her surveyor this morning. Again, this was the second time. And he's just trying to come up with something that she might be able to do to get this subdivided. But John highly suggests she sells the whole property and gets out. If that's what your intentions are, to make money, then I don't know if this is gonna work.
You know, I think.
So that's kind of, I wanted to explain tonight, it's been kind of a slight up and down with trying to get her to give us the information that we need in order to even bring it to the planning board.
And in case this ever helps, you know, in your interactions with her, yeah, it should not be assumed that subdividing it is going to increase the revenue. And
Correct.
I can use my own experience here in Rush as an example.
Okay.
Because when my husband and I bought our property, the original owner had gone to a lot of time and trouble and money to get that subdivided for
Okay.
2 houses with the drainage and the layouts and everything. And the seller had 2 offers on it. One from my husband and me, we were successful, the other from another potential buyer, but the similarity between the 2 of us was each customer said, we're not gonna buy only one lot. We're only going to buy it if we can buy both lots.
Okay.
And then we bought both lots, and then we had to go to the trouble to get it re-subdivided back into one. But
Okay,
interesting, so they went to all the trouble to put it into two and nobody wanted it as,
as two.
well, yeah, so
Yeah.
nobody wanted just one.
Just the little part, right, or
Right.
the, or the, yeah, the
Yeah.
subdivided portion.
Everybody wanted one bigger lot, and a lot like that small, I doubt that's gonna. work.
Especially a house right behind you. I would
Yeah.
never want
I
that.
wouldn't want that either, and
Mhm.
yeah, and I think the resale. Yeah, I don't think, I think that would be a hindrance to if she does decide to sell the big house.
It's an
Well,
odd shaped lot.
Make it
too.
difficult to sell both of them.
Right,
And look on
Right.
Pinnacle Road, those houses that are right behind each
Yeah.
other, the problems
uh-huh,
that have been
Yeah.
over the
Oh, yeah,
years.
Yeah.
yeah,
Very hard.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of Where we
Where
are
is,
right
does
now.
he still live there? Is this how do you get to this property here?
That swings all the way around from
Mm.
behind,
Rush Scottsville Road.
But that's Bob Barker? Wasn't he the tree guy?
Bob
but,
Barker.
that land goes all the way around,
Oh, I don't really
Baker.
know
up to
him,
Oz.
but I know of him.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
Cause
live down the
that's
street
Sam,
here.
this is like
With the tree guy.
sandwiched in. How would you
No,
access
he
that?
lives, they live down here.
And it's only an informal review.
Oh,
Right, so.
Down
should
here a
we-
few
should we
more.
take a position
They live off
recommending
of West Henrietta Road.
but he owns this parcel, must be.
What do you think? Should we take a position recommending against it?
I think your
Yep.
points about resale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, but is that maybe, am I getting out of my
Not all
lane?
there is, but there's no, environmental issues at stake now.
Yeah, there will be though. I mean, we see the
Yeah.
potential of that.
And Pat is correct too. Pat, you said this perfectly. And based on that original, plan that was out on the web or out on the derivation table, this is a self-created hardship, and I did send her all of the, parameters that the zoning board looks at. And one of them is that it's a self-created hardship. She put the barn there about 5 years ago. John said this morning, if that barn was moved like at least over 20 feet, just toward the house,
Is this? the
that
barn?
could have
Yes.
possibly worked as a flag lot. But because she has the barn right down the middle, it's not wide enough at the, I think, 110-foot setback for, is it?
Then how
for
big
res-
is that barn?
I have no clue, to be honest. I mean, he did put the barn on this particular drawing. There was no barn. What my first initial conversation with her, she said, oh, I do have a barn, or a garage or whatever that we put in 5 years ago. And she wanted to keep that obviously with her property. But then we get the survey and there's no barn on there whatsoever. I'm just like, so I went on our near map website that gives us pretty much almost like real-time property GIS.
So-
And
Without this subdivision, how big is the property to begin with?
good question. So she originally wanted to subdivide through the barn, and that was 26,000 square feet. That was not enough to subdivide that way. So hopefully, Jim's the surveyor, he's gonna try to get 30,000 square foot out of this. But I don't know, the lot is good size. I mean, it's just a matter if they can get another 30,000 square feet total out of that.
Okay, well, I will state a motion for discussion. That we state that we have concerns about the small size of the lot and whether it will perk and drain properly and support a dwelling. And then as an additional note, that we suggest that if the purpose is resale, that it would be more favorable for resale as one large parcel.
Getting water back there. Ooh,
Yeah.
or any utilities back there is gonna be.
Yeah. And her septic is behind her house.
Ooh,
So the
So-
front of their house.
And theirs has to go back.
They have public
Summertime.
water.
I believe so.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It-
West Marietta Road, I think so.
It just said,
In the house.
that's my understanding.
She just wants to make money by.
Yeah.
Erecting a house that doesn't need. to.
I mean, that's the impression that we have got, John and myself. and
Okay, well, that
Karen.
makes more sense than trying to divide it to sell both of them.
Yeah,
can-
no, I
yeah.
don't think,
It makes more sense in a way, I'm not saying I still think it's a problem, but at least makes more sense with the idea is, well, okay, raising the money from selling part of it will
Right.
help me to stay here.
Yes.
Right.
I can sympathize with that, but we can't approve of something that's not gonna work.
Right.
That's not gonna be in anybody's best interest. You know, the town can get sued for approving something that shouldn't have been approved.
exactly.
Where have we seen that happen? So,
If at some point she decides she's going to move and she wants to sell her house near the road, a new buyer might be very turned off.
mhm.
Oh,
Right, they have
absolutely.
Another house in their backyard,
sure.
Yeah.
More complicated than.
and they're sharing the driveway
Right.
too in this
Oh.
instance.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't
Wow.
really
Yeah.
wanna do that,
Mm.
but
Okay, well then I'll leave, since she's not looking to sell both of them, I can leave out the additional note, which doesn't really, apply to our mission anyway. And I simply say that concerns about the small size of the lot for perking, drainage,
Mhm.
support of a dwelling, etc.
and did I have a second?
I second.
Okay. I'll go ahead and call the board. Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye.
Member Wolliver,
I,
Member Hoke,
I,
Member Kraus.
All these minutes on mine.
Yeah, their thought
We
too.
don't spend a lot of time on
Who's
that.
gonna wanna build a house there and have 390?
I mean,
Yeah.
this is for the one we just talked about, or no, we have-
Yeah, that's the one that we did.
Oh, yeah, well,
You see those maps online?
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
we
can
can
show-
hear it
Yeah.
from our house. We can hear the expressway.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Especially on.
especially
clear
in the
nights,
winter.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, when it's
Mhm.
clear and,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's no leaves
Yeah.
on the
You
tree.
notice, last night I heard, the gun club, it's snowing like crazy out and I could hear the gun
Okay.
club all the
That's
way
what
in
I
my
was
house.
hearing, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's snowing like crazy and these guys are out there shooting.
shooting snowflakes.
Shoot.
The clay pigeons at the gun club on,
In the
Number
dark?
six road.
Dark,
Yeah, they have lights over there. Yeah. And it was constant.
Yeah, it was.
It sure was the gun club.
Yeah, yeah, as you can tell.
I
Somebody
really
else
hope
posted
it
on
was the-
Facebook, they heard gunshots, they were wondering.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was, like Sunday or Monday night, somebody can go fox hunting or coyote hunting at night.
Oh,
Call them. You get the moon illuminating everything. Or, they got special lamps and red lamps and goggles.
Since we went out of order, I suggest that we might as well finish up a couple other of the short things before we get to Dollar General, which is a big thing. I move that we reappoint, Rick Spencer and Laura Connect, I move that we support the reappointment of, Richard Spencer and Laura Connect to the tree committee.
Second.
All right. Chairman Watson,
Right?
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye.
Member Wolliver,
I,
Member Hoke,
I,
Member Kraus.
And the other item about the newsletter, Pat alertly noticed this, that the this newsletter is correct on the back of the newsletter where it shows the
Mhm,
meetings and it
mhm.
shows us starting at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But in the town clerk section of the newsletter, it went back to where we used to start, which was 7:30. And so I'm assuming that maybe was a copy and paste from an older version.
I'm assuming so, yes. Pam felt bad. She was like, I'm so sorry. She goes, I didn't even catch that. So yes, so it was definitely a mistake. So we'll make sure that's corrected this next time.
That's all we can do is correct it for the next time. And actually, if I had to choose, I'd rather it be the way it was than the other way around.
Yeah.
Because I think more people are going to get it from the back of the newsletter. where the
Yeah,
right.
chart
that's
is.
where they're gonna
Yes,
look.
and it is still up on the website as well. So everything is good there.
I could say that we don't have a lot of people coming, but you never know. And people have the right to come at the right time if they want to. So.
Yes.
Wanna go to tree cutting in the right parks? Old business,
I
or
don't-
you wanna go back to Dollar General?
I think the others should be pretty fast, so maybe we just get down to general then. Suggestion, stay with the new business.
Okay.
So we actually have something now.
Yeah, Marjorie was saying that they want 5 variances. Do you want to brief us on it, Marjorie?
Sure. So we have determined, in helping, Victor Mickle, the representative out, with. Basically, right now, we have, 2 sign variances. One is the freestanding sign per chart A in the town code. The proposed sign is 50 square feet. And we allow 47.68 square feet. I don't really know why that is. And I think it has to do with an equation. There is an equation. John actually did all the math for me and I don't even understand it. But that was, so they're slightly shy of basically 3 square feet approximately. And the wall sign per chart C is, the proposed sign is 120.6, I'm gonna round up, square feet. And the allowed is 43.52. So that one is a big difference in.
Could you, I'm sorry, may I have trouble you to repeat that?
Was that a sign?
These are both signs, so
no,
this.
one's
one
on
is
the
wall
building.
Sign, so this one's on the building, is my understanding. So it's per chart C in the town code, the proposed sign is 120.6 square feet. The allowed is 43.52 square feet.
So
per
well,
the
well more
equations.
than double.
Yes. Yeah, so they are coming for those 2. And we also have 3 where the building is concerned. So the first one requires that no structure exceed 10,000 gross square feet. The proposed structure is 10,640 square feet. So that was that extra space for, I believe it was for storage in the back of the building, if I remember correctly. And then the next one was for indoor retail. Formula requires parking spaces for all vehicles used directly in conduct of business, plus 6 spaces for each 1,000 square feet of total floor space. So we are requiring by code 64 spaces. They only have 35 spaces shown on their site plan. So they are going to come, they have, I guess, done statistics and all of that as to how many people they believe will be there at one time, even during holidays. So they are thinking the 35 spaces should be sufficient. The last one is based on their loading dock area. And I don't think I have the exact code to reference that, but right now in the multi-use hamlet code, it states that they are supposed to have 4 loading areas for, I guess, for the size of the building maybe. And they only have technically 2. Lee Hetrick, zoning board chair, believes that they can get 2 loading spaces out of the one that they have proposed size wise. So that's the 5th.
Okay, now I want to start with a sort of a procedural technical question, and
Okay.
here's Julia being the cranky one again. But here where it says above the signature, it says applicant must check off each box below, and not a single box is checked. Are we looking yet again, at an incomplete application that shouldn't even be submitted if it's not complete?
You know, I need to, that is
Is it-
my mistake, because I believe online it will not let you check the boxes.
Oh, okay.
So I believe by him saying, or signing the property owner of representative signature, we've been, I think, letting it kind of go just because of that. He did send these in the mail to us from the digital printout online. So I believe that is a problem with the online application. I think that will not let them check. So I would say, at this time, we were fine with this, and Lee has seen it, and, I mean, he
Okay.
didn't really, bring it up that,
Yeah, no, I know how that can happen sometimes.
yes, yes, yeah.
Did we see an environmental impact statement when this first came out the first time?
No, it was an informal review, so they didn't
Okay.
have to do any of that.
Okay.
So right now, I don't even know if the property has been purchased.
Mm.
This is coming before zoning as kind of like a perpetual, possibility.
And the house still sits there.
The house still sits there.
Perpetual, that's a good word for it.
Yeah,
But you know what, this doesn't make sense to me when you think, and I'm no builder or zoning, but we want them to diminish the size of it, right? Because the code for the hamlet is
Yeah.
but then you're saying you want more parking spaces and you want more loading docks. If you were diminishing the building, you would go with less,
well,
right?
I think because that building space is a variance that they're asking for more. I think that they're trying to match that up with, okay, so if we do give you this area variance, and I'm not the zoning, I have no idea if they'll, go through with all of this. But I guess if they're asking for the area variance for the 10,640 square feet, and they get that variance, then they're still going to need more parking spaces, or, based on that larger building.
I
So
think
the-
the larger building was based on the fact that they wanted to put more food in there. And this was to support that.
Okay, all right, and that could be too. I thought it was for storage in the back, but for food, okay. And it is a DG Markets, so it is different, and there is going to be,
Market?
it's called DG Market,
Dollar General Retail Store.
yes.
How it's referred
Yeah, but
to.
they call
But
it,
it's actually called like a DG Market, and actually they have the signage, that they sent over. And it is signed as a DG Market.
yeah, because I think they operate, my understanding is they operate 2 sets of stores.
Yes,
One is the basic Dollar General store,
right,
and then the other they call, same company, but they call it a DG Market.
DG Market.
The
It's the
differentiation being that it sells fresh produce.
Yes, and it's still not considered a grocery store, but it does have a little bit more in the food and fresh food.
Now, the
Right.
big sign is not the one that would go over the door, right?
Yeah, the biggest sign.
That's the
This
biggest
one.
sign, that one.
I think that's the big one, yes,
Mhm.
the
That
wall
ought to
one.
be twice as.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing for a road sign or enter.
Yeah,
sign
that was the
or
one that
exit
was, what, it was
First
just a
one
little.
Is a road sign, and that one's just shy
Yes.
of, he's just like 3 square feet over that 50 square foot signage, but I know there's a lot of trees there, so I don't know, Mr. Hetrick has actually been by there and, says that I think there's a lot of trees there, so that maybe the trees are gonna have to come out. I don't really.
It would be bad.
I know, I
Well, we
know.
have a tree committee for that, right? Is
I
that their
don't know,
job?
no, I don't think
No?
so.
No, they
It's
don't
more
have
our job.
oversight on that. You
Yeah,
know
they're,
they're gonna
they're
take
involved
those
in getting
trees.
more trees in.
And maybe we
I
get
don't
the
know.
code committee to work on the signs. I like to see more like Florida where the signs are down on the ground.
Well, even in Henrietta, the signs are going down.
I like,
Mhm.
get them down.
Yeah.
Well, what about, so all the comments that Pat wrote about the lighting? I think that's a concern, all that LED bright lighting.
Well, there is a lighting law we got. It does exist.
Yeah.
In town.
We haven't
So
seen
they'll
it
have
on
to-
lighting yet either.
And I
Officially.
don't know,
Which
I don't
we
know
will-
a lot of the particulars on like the hours of operation and all of that kind of thing. Which is why I do think that they're coming before zoning to even find out if this is possible. Like I said, I don't think they've even kind of gone any further. They will have to come back before the planning board with a site application.
And on a
Once they,
state road.
if they
Bill,
decide.
the state will determine on lighting, flushing out
Yeah.
to the road also.
Yeah.
Do they,
They're gonna be more interested in minimal lighting. We're gonna, I think, be more interested in maximal lighting.
Oh, Dorshel first went in up there, that's started the light law that we got. We do have one, is how much can go off site, how bright you can be. There's a time on it, the whole thing, so.
Mhm.
Rush does have a lighting law that's relatively effective. We just haven't needed it because nothing has really happened in this town for a while,
Yeah.
but it does exist.
And you
So
never
have-
know when it's gonna happen.
does the town also have to inform all these residents around
I already did.
what's going on?
Yeah, there were 40 people that I sent out legal notice.
How many?
Huh?
How many?
40
40.
within 500 feet, yes. Yep.
I think Pat has already pointed out one environmental issue, and I think that's what we need to focus on. Is, what falls under our jurisdiction, lighting is a good point. Do we feel that the signs are a part of what we're dealing with? Well, I guess insofar as they might be, having interact with the trees. If they would mean cutting trees down, that would be an environmental issue.
And the fact
Wetland in the back.
The wetland.
that the sign,
Stormwater runoff.
Right.
the specifics of the signs specifically say white. and
Okay.
these- the button.
No, but the wetland in the back and the stormwater runoff are those zoning issues or would they at all, or would
There's
they?
a proposed stormwater management and then all this existing,
Okay.
but they have to do environmental impact statements, right? Maybe. a
Right, because
secret?
this, remember, this still is the pre
Yeah.
before they
Yeah.
purchase it.
Right. And there's still a house there.
Now, will they, when they take the house down, do they dig up its septic system?
They don't really dig it up, they might take the tank out,
Oh,
it's a system that just goes dormant.
I just wondered if that in fact affected any of their.
Where it's located on the site plan, the first site plan, it is out near the road. And I don't really fully know what planning board, will say in
And no one
regards to
lives in
that.
that house right now, right?
I don't think so.
Now, the parking lot, I can see that as an environmental issue in terms of drainage.
Right.
What about the parking lot not being the normally required size? Is that an issue for us? I'm just asking, it's not a rhetorical question.
It did come up with the planning board too, so this was based
But
on,
in terms of a
Right,
conservation issue.
right, yes. And there is a lot of wetland around that whole
Mhm.
site. Yeah, federal wetlands, yes.
How was the other project up at 251 and 15 going?
I guess okay. I haven't really heard much. I know they got the canopies up. I don't even fully know how much they've done. If they've done a lot inside, I'm assuming that's what they've been working on, but, yeah, I haven't really heard much, so.
Let's, want to make some notes on this.
Yes,
What is that gonna do?
or, I mean, yeah,
I think it's a mobile gas station. With just a, convenience store.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Isn't
I
that
don't think
mobile what 7-Eleven has?
that,
Yeah.
they're actually the same. I think
Oh,
they're
that's right,
under
they're-
the
yeah.
same
People.
ownership, and they do
This is for the
only
first one.
go with
this is.
mobile, so, yeah.
Okay, why don't we, since, because of who we are, why don't we start with the wetland in the back and the stormwater management issue?
That this is an application to the zoning board for variance. We can say anything we want to say, but,
Yeah, maybe leave that to the end as an additional notation.
yeah.
Yeah.
well, where it is-
Right.
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 So maybe start with the issue of the white LED signage.
I think that's a good,
Yeah, the signage, but also mainly the lighting is what you want to look at, right?
But they're asking for the variance for the
Oh, for variance
signage.
on the sign, right?
yeah.
Pat, do you want to kind of summarize? Because I actually didn't see your email before I left work, so.
I sent it late in the day. There are many studies showing that white LED that also are particularly harmful for various wildlife, including insects, but birds, big time. I think most people would focus on that and they would say, oh, what wildlife is it? And certainly we know there are here and every wildlife we have in our house, it's not in the middle of the hamlet, would also be there. They do it, but this is where they live, and they're not used to a whole lot of commotion at night.
Well, nighttime lighting it's disrupting bird migrations. There's certain times of the year they say, turn your lights off.
Yes, yes, the US Fish and Wildlife, this one article that I cited, their policy is, at least at their center in Massachusetts, the lights are off from 8 p.m. to 5, 8 or 8:30 p.m. to 5 in the morning. Yeah, and it's certainly, we're concerned about the wildlife, even the insects. This board put a statement in about that with the dorsal lighting proposed
Mhm.
years ago. But my gosh, what about the neighbors?
Yeah.
Oh, I would absolutely hate it.
Yeah, depending on how big the signage is too, that,
Well,
play
from
a
such a
part in it.
dark, small parcel to all that light on all the time.
yeah.
Seven.
Yeah.
Okay, how's this concerns about white and red LED lights from the signs harmful to wildlife, including birds, larger signs lead to additional damage?
Yeah, we don't know the hours that they're proposing. Maybe they're
Yeah.
gonna turn them off when the store closes.
Right.
But
But the-
maybe they want them on for security.
Right, and also the store is gonna be open when it's dark. I mean, even if they close at 5 o'clock in
Mhm.
January, which I doubt they're gonna close at 5.
Right.
7-Eleven, 24 hours?
No. Or wait, actually, yes, I believe this one is,
Yeah.
the one up there will not be.
Or what about the lighting? I don't even know, because I'm not out about.
It's kind of odd that, next to the expressway that they wouldn't be open 24.
Yeah. Nope. Nope,
And need to preserve trees.
at least that's what they said originally, that they weren't going to be open 24 hours up there.
They would have to come in for a variance and stay in 24 hours.
It would be through planning board. They'd have to come in and amend anything, that on the resolution that stated that. Hours of operation.
Need to preserve the trees, not sacrifice trees for the lights and signs. And let's see, what about drainage concerns regarding the parking lot?
Stormwater
Mhm.
runoff to wetlands.
And it also ties in with our
Way to put it.
mention of, pervious
Right.
Luther's thing.
Yeah, that's because that storm, they're gonna be salting that whole parking lot. So all that
Yes.
is gonna go into the wetlands.
Yes.
That's not good for aquatic life.
The town got salt today from India.
India, the country?
Mm-hmm,
Really?
mm-hmm.
Come into the port of Albany and they got 331 tons of it.
They never ordered it.
Yeah.
What is
I heard the whole story.
Oh.
No kidding.
Yeah, they don't know how they don't know.
I think
Yeah.
he said it was yellow salt too.
Red Sox unable
Oh,
to
God, what are we gonna be putting on our
American
roads?
black salt. Oh. They're,
They did put out a statement, which was, to saving face, basically that they are working around the clock and they're producing supposedly close to what they were
Is
producing.
that the rock
before.
salt place?
Mhm.
So this might seem far-fetched, but you know, think of all the invasive species that have come over on pallets, right?
Yeah.
So now, like you wouldn't think
Pretty much.
rock, okay, rock
I
is,
know.
is non-living, but what could be in that salt that could have an effect on our waterways? Cause it all ends up in the water.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of things.
crows. I've seen crows out in the road eating salt and grit.
We actually saw 4 robins in my sister's driveway the other day, and I believe they were probably eating the salt off of the snow,
Minerals.
but in February. 4 robins.
They say they're not migrating the way they used to.
They're not. Yeah, I guess they're staying mostly
I've
around.
seen them on occasion, not a lot.
I've seen an occasional heron in the winter months.
Really?
Have any other issues?
Okay, yeah, so we've got concerns about the white and red LED lights of on the signs harmful to wildlife, including birds. Larger signs lead to additional damage, need to preserve trees, not sacrifice trees for the lights and signs. It's stormwater runoff from the parking lot, including ice melt, potential damage to nearby wetlands, suggest porous material for parking lot.
I did. say
Eco-friendly.
Research cited red as well as white LED, but in the specifications for the signs, I only noticed white. So I don't know that we should.
Okay, I'll cross out.
And what about the lighting effect on humans? Do we want to say anything about that to the residents nearby?
Maybe just the neighborhood around there.
I would want to be across the street.
And there's that street that goes up
Mhm.
off
Yeah.
of there
Yeah.
too. They're all in
And
that zone.
Yeah.
Do you
They're all-
get the impression they know about this, the 40 letters you sent out?
It'll be interesting, I guess, next week to see if anybody shows up. I don't,
Shows up for.
what's next?
for
week?
the, zoning, sorry,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
the zoning board, that's when they come before the zoning board, so. I don't really know, I'm not really sure if they know much about it or not. to be
Depends
honest.
upon how much I pay attention.
Right.
So I added concerns about the lighting effect on residents living nearby.
Oh, that's where she.
Yeah, anything else before we pass a motion? Okay, well,
Pat,
then,
did we cover everything you mentioned?
Think so. And it's I don't know, I mean,
I like the way Dave saddled the, the zoning issues with the, with the other things. Okay, so then I state a motion that we pass a resolution expressing our concerns about the effects of LED lighting, need to preserve trees, concern of stormwater runoff, suggesting eco-friendly forest material for the parking lot, and expressing concerns of the lighting effects on residents living nearby.
Second,
All right. Chairman Watson,
I,
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman, Member Wolliver.
Aye.
Member Hoke
Aye.
and Member Kraus.
Aye.
Right.
This is slightly off topic. I'll make it real fast, but Margie, was anything said about the contradiction? Because you hear about Dollar General closing stores. And now here they want to open one.
Yeah.
Because, another thing we wouldn't want would be to approve it, have it done, and then have them close up shop and leave
Yeah.
us with another empty building in that spot.
I think that's a major, major threat.
Mhm. There have been some concerns.
Do they say anything?
I haven't heard from the public, the concerns, but
But does the company say anything as to
the
why they-
company says they research all these smaller areas to determine whether or not there is something, that would be needed. Because there is no actual store in Rush, so you would have to still go, what is it, like 8 miles to Henrietta? Not even
It's 8.
about 8. So you would still have to go 8 miles, or you go to Honeyway Falls Marketplace, or you go, to somewhere that might be, within a reasonable distance. So I think when they do their research, they look at the demographics, they look at all the statistical type stuff. I don't know if there was something with, knowing that the Big M had been here for a long time and, has been gone for a long time. So maybe that's something, but they do all this demographical research, and that's really all Dollar General representatives have said. But that has been brought to Victor's attention by the planning board. And they have definitely stated that a couple of times, so.
I think too, it's they tend to do well when inflation is high
Yeah.
and the economy is poor. That's when people shop there, and then when the economy improves, that's when they stop shopping there and they close down.
I think that there can't be some kind of food conditioning agreement like with those,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
why should we be left with an ugly vacant building
Building, right.
just because they got their marketing survey wrong?
Yeah.
Change,
Mhm.
there's nothing like that, I don't know why not.
Oh, I mean, could we pioneer that? I don't know.
Just as food for thought, that sign is gonna be 20 feet in the air where residential houses are across the street. Something that, do you, as a board, consider that sign, but tell them to put it on the ground? Like they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Less intrusive.
Because that's gonna just cast the light, no matter what, that bright green or whatever,
Yeah. But you can
get it down on the ground,
Dave, we can add that.
wouldn't be quite so bad. Now they up in the air.
That's a
cast it
very
out.
good point.
Like the neighbors. I don't live right there, but I would really support what you're saying. And your neighbors, you feel very strongly. about that.
Okay, I move that we amend our resolution to add that we suggest that the signs be placed closer to the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a flower bed mount style.
Mhm.
Like our sign. I mean, obviously it's gonna be lit, but like the town sign.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It bothers me a lot that a company, all they want to do is make money. And they don't care about how they can be harming our people, our animals and everything else. They don't care, and it just seems to me, okay, we have zoning laws. Now, signs on the ground, it'd be great if that could be become part of the zoning code. Right now it's not, but the square footage,
Basically going through south.
whatever, if, if there is no opposition, if all the people who live around
It's
there
nice that they got
and the rest
this.
of us
Yeah.
have no problem with it, sure, grant them a variance. That's why I'm very interested and we requested, but if there's opposition, to me, that is so wrong, the zoning laws are there to protect everybody, and certainly the people who already live here, who have invested everything in their lives. These are their homes. Their concern should count far more than some company from Birmingham who just wants to make money. And they don't care about our laws. Sorry. I do feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, thinking now I understand about the lights. Our neighbor across the street put, one of those big fluorescent up. I mean, this is years and years ago. But when it first came up, it did, I mean, it came right in the windows and lit up the house. And when you're not used to it. And
Fun, where Marion West lived, or right next door to where she lived. I don't know why they have it, it's been there quite a while, it's at the end of their driveway, it's maybe this tall, like a cylinder or something. It's awful, I know people that live across the road. They hate it. The only good thing is if I'm driving there at night, I just look at that. I know I have to cross. But I don't miss it.
And we need to vote on the amendment to the.
Oh, yes. Okay, Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye.
Member Wolliver,
I,
Member Hope,
Aye.
Member Kraus.
Aye. And I have, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I have one more item under new business, which came up as I was driving here tonight. And that is apparently, I was told I wasn't there, that it came up at last night's town board meeting about the town may be selling the Gola Road property. And the way it was presented to me, and Beth, you may know a lot more about it, so I'll just get it.
Well, I watched the Zoom meeting of the town board meeting last night.
But what the way it was presented to me and why it makes it, potentially an issue for us is that it's where the creek meets the river.
Yeah.
So that is environmentally significant. And if, that could be a concern if the town sells that. So I'm just bringing that up for discussion. I don't know if we can wait till next month to talk about it, or if it's something that's imminent that we should address now. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, was Supervisor Wooliver, was he just kind of musing about it, or is this something that you think is gonna move forward?
I'm sorry, I did not pick up on everything Julia was saying.
Oh, about selling the Gola Road property. Because there's a landlocked parcel where the creek meets the river. And apparently Dan mentioned last night that the town might or would sell that.
Oh, the town owns a small sliver of land over there that Niagara Mohawk is replacing transmission lines to carry the heavier load from the solar farms. And they want to cross our property to be able to do that. The lines run overhead now. And so they want to use the town land versus going out onto the private land around the tower, I guess. That's kind of how I took it there. It didn't sound like it was any big, like they're going to disrupt it or disturb anything, just they needed to be able to transport across it to put the wires up.
So National Grid is the one that wants to purchase.
Yes,
Couldn't we then sell them the rights to do that rather than, but maintain control of the land itself?
you bring up some good questions. I don't have an answer for you, though.
And they already used the peanut bed as a right of way for carrying lines.
So maybe we add it to new business and.
Well, I'm bringing it up on new business. We
Oh.
could wait till next month, but we wouldn't want to do that if something is gonna happen imminently. We could at least make a resolution now that Luther could, if you should be so kind, could present to the town board at the next meeting.
I could take it back in 2 weeks. I could take it back to them. We can take it back anytime. Send it to them right now. Let them start thinking about it. As a conservation board, you can send that right out to us. I can take it to Dan tomorrow and call them up. And say, hey, this is what they're thinking, but send a email from the
Yeah, we'd
conservation.
like to
board.
be notified.
Well, maybe, yeah, if we could have a resolution in the minutes and then that could be read from and passed along. That we're concerned about the sale of town land, where the river meets the creek, because that is important environmentally. And we suggest that the town consider, if it's an issue of of the use of the space overhead, that for the lines, that the town consider selling the rights rather than selling the land.
There are lines there now. They're just like putting heavier ones in. So that's a simplified.
So then why would, if there are lines there now and they want to put heavier ones in, why do they need to buy the land? at
Probably
all?
need access onto the property.
Access.
Well, again, we can give them the rights of access
Yeah.
without selling the land.
Isn't there an easement now? Wouldn't there be an
There would
easement
have to
now?
be, wouldn't it, for them to get to it?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I got that little bit of Dan talked about last night.
Okay,
I didn't even hear him say we were selling it. I thought he was just gonna let me, have an easement.
Well, that could be. I could have been told wrong. Well, you were there. What did you hear, Beth? 'Cause
No, I
wasn't there.
think he said they would like to sell it. to
I think he
Commissioner
said
Gray.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not pick up on that. So I apologize. But send an email based on the conservation board.
Okay,
You
I'll
have
do
your
that.
concerns about it and they duly noted, right? And I'll take it to them tomorrow.
do you want to authorize me to do that, or Beth, you're welcome to do it, because you're,
because you're so good at
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yes, I can, email Dan about it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, do we want to do a motion then for,
Yes, I do. I move that I'm making all the motions here. Would somebody else like to make this motion?
Can I borrow your pen?
you do good at that?
Okay, I move that we authorize Beth Hope to prepare and send an email expressing the board's concerns, opposition to the sale of the Golden Road property, with the suggestion that there may be other means of accomplishing the goals that the town has in mind without sale of an environmentally significant property.
Second? Okay. All right. Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye.
Member Woolever,
I,
Member Hoke,
Aye.
and Member Kraus.
Out through the new business and the old business. Tree cutting in the Rush Parks.
Yep.
Think more on that.
Right, can we finally take this off the agenda? Was this still an active issue?
I don't think it's an active
It's been
issue.
resolved,
Okay.
I think.
No.
Resolved? Okay, good.
Dollar General.
We already discussed that.
Just to let everyone know too, recently, just this week, because I went to the tree committee meeting. We have a designation now at the 100 Acres Nature Park. Not that it's old growth forest. I forget the exact words for what it is, but it's older forest. It's a significant stand of older forests. So by getting that designation, I mean, we don't get a whole lot for it, but we'll be on the website. People that want to go and find older growth forest areas in the county, it will be listed as a place to visit, place to walk, so.
How big is the forested area there?
I don't know acreage.
That goes right to Henrietta, right?
Yes, to the Henrietta border. Yeah. And this has come up over and over again too, is that area that was initially possibly, you know, problematic with tree cutting, it needs to be surveyed. I mean, some of those trees that are possibly dangerous to homes might not be even in the town of Rush. So a survey is needed before it would go in and try to remove any trees. No.
Yeah, you don't wanna cut down the trees that don't belong to us, we don't cut down these anyway.
Well,
but-
and it would be a tremendous expense to go back there and cut, like,
Mhm.
it's not easy to get to. So surveying is what needs to probably happen next.
And we got the idea of eco-friendly driveways, I guess we can take that off too, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's been included, through the code committee also. Added.
We changed that there. The other day when we had the workshop there. We had, Scott go back to the coal committee and. We wanted him to include that, trying to give options to different places that they can put that in. More and more places are putting it in, but. So it is. Starting down that path.
Want me to jump into EMC? So, let me just say this before I give you two reports. I cannot attend their next three meetings, and Pat knows. I don't know if she's gonna be able to make it to all of them or any of them. Okay, so tomorrow, no, it's not tomorrow, it's next Wednesday. The topic is making sense of sustainability in HVAC, and it's, Taylor Heating and Cooling. I think that's gonna be cold weather heat pumps and all that kind of infrastructure. Anyone is welcome to go.
Where's the meeting held?
At the Fleet Center, back behind the
Paul Road.
airport. Yes, you turn left on Paul and then you don't go too far and it's on the right. So you know what? I will send out the details to everyone, and if you just, they're open meetings, so.
Yeah.
And I apologize for that. I have some conflicts. So the first one in December was on farmland protection. And that was very, very interesting. They're actually rewriting the farm land protection. They're updating it, I should say. For 2024, it's a work in progress, and that's on the Monroe County government site. But a couple big takeaways from that meeting for me were that, because this is really kind of what we're seeing with the rezoning, you know, that property on West Henrietta Road that Jack Moore wants to rezone, and it's agricultural land, and he wants to rezone it to limited industrial, and we don't know what the direction the town's gonna go on this, but these are my personal feelings. I mean, you have limited industrial north forever and ever in Henrietta. Why do we want to pave prime agricultural land? And one takeaway was that mineral soil groups identify land suitable for farming. MSG 1 through 4 is the highest quality. And one thing that came out of this meeting is that kind of designation, which our farmland here is some of the top agricultural land on the planet, that is now going to assess seeker determinations. So if you have this prime farmland, you wouldn't just write it off to limited industrial, whatever, without a seeker at the value of it. I thought that was really interesting.
What was that take effect?
I think that's probably going to be part of this whole farmland protection plan update that they're now working on at the county
So it's
government
not in
level.
effect yet.
I don't know that it's something that's gonna have a hard date to affect. I think you could probably use that as a reason for a seeker at any time. It's a valuable resource.
It'd be nice if there could be a moratorium on a plan such as that proposal, which is in the ag district with those best soils in the planet. And it would be removed from agriculture. if this county plan is going to go into effect at a certain point, you guys have a moratorium at least in the meantime.
Well, the county recognizes that, well, first of all, we're losing agricultural land in this county. And they understand that you gotta be profitable, you know, or these farmers, you know, what do they have in it? So they said ensuring farmland is profitable, we're losing farmland, that's why they created these ag districts as an attempt to preserve farmland. And they spoke about, you know, what you could try to do that you could accommodate more right on site selling farmer to consumer or agritourism, or get younger people in your community interested in farming. So they have some stake in it. Promoting local food, promoting the youth education about farming. So it's just,
Another thought on that that I seldom if ever hear mentioned, I've often wondered about it, is attracting Amish. Because, you know, you have all those Amish farms around Gates County and Jefferson County and
Livingston too.
yeah,
Livingston's getting much bigger.
because, you know, Amish farms, they're not as, you know, concerned about, well, you know, we'll farm until we can find something more profitable. You know, that's what they do. That's part of their whole lifestyle is, you know, is farming. And if we could get Amish interested in this area, that would be another way to preserve farmland.
and I think that's the answer to around this whole rezoning it to limited industrial. We have the town, I don't know, whoever, the conservation board, we got to try to start finding some viable alternatives to. But I also think in the future of this planet, just protecting agricultural land is, you know, we can feed people with the food we can grow here, and you can't do that everywhere. So it's really important to protect it. Once you pave it over, it's paved.
And we're very vulnerable if we don't have the food source within the country.
Exactly.
Problem is, of course, the rights of property owners. Nobody wants to take the rights away from the property owners. And people will say, I mean, there's no question, someone looking to develop land for limited industrial. They're gonna make a lot more money if they get the permission to rezone and go that route than if they sell to anybody, Amish or otherwise, for farming. But it goes back to what I was saying before, the laws of the town need to be respected and enforced. That land that we're talking about, it's in a zone that does not allow limited industrial. Why should we change our law? You know, given all the concerns, the reasons for protecting agriculture, and we have this law. Why would we change the law just to make the property owner richer?
And Rush is unique. We are unique in Monroe County, and we don't want to turn into, you know, limited industrial. That's why people live here. And the comprehensive plan, which clearly states that we need to protect agricultural land.
But the town board simply vote to rezone, regardless of all of the concerns that have been raised and all of the points you're making. Simply vote. They're correct.
They can, and we can ask them not to.
Yeah,
We can ask
keep
them
asking you not to.
Theoretically, could a new town board rescind a rezoning that was done by a prior town board?
That's
I would
interesting.
think.
I thought only Donald.
Without any checks and balances.
Yeah.
So that was really, I thought, timely, seeing as what we are experiencing right now. And then the second meeting I attended in January, I don't know that this pertains to us too much, but I'll just give you quickly, it was the county is really working on recycling. And specifically the organics management plan, which is to really target organic waste, food scraps. You know, leaf litter, anything out of your yards that is organic, and you can see this is much more of an issue throughout the
Mhm.
county. Where people can't haul it to the back 40, right? Or they have their brush pickup. So they're in the process of trying to make this happen. Once again, it's a lengthy process. There's surveys going out right now. To see who's gonna participate. They're kind of doing an experimental thing, I believe, with Monroe Community Hospital with food waste.
Separated or put it in your garden?
Oh, separate it from your garbage. It takes longer for your food to get biodegradable in your in with the garbage
Yeah.
than if you separate it. Well, and if you separate it, then you can use it for
Yeah.
composting and
Well,
stuff.
and I compost and I only put animal, or no, I only put plant stuff in there, no animal stuff except an eggshell or two. And
Right,
this-
and nothing, no, that has to be all like a fresh. Like, you know, you cut off the end of your celery or something.
Right.
You cannot have put anything on it.
right,
Where
Right.
this, you can, because I
Yes.
do this through Lori's Natural Foods.
oh, do you?
There's a pail, it costs $8, or now it's $10 a pail, and you can put anything, any food.
Where do you take it?
Back to Lori's, and then you get another one.
So, so meat scraps. you
Yeah,
could put in.
anything, bones.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I'm really curious what they do with that kind of compost that has the animal products in it.
They must, there,
It
I
must be
know
something
there's another
natural.
kind of composting because my daughter lives in Boston. And I was so fascinated. We were there at Thanksgiving time and our host was putting all this stuff that we did not put in compost in this compost. And they had citywide, which he wasn't, it was Cambridge. And the city did it. And he told me, but that was a couple years ago. So I forgot. There is a different process they use than just our composting that just sits and then goes back into the.
Right.
There was a place over on Lehigh Station Road back in there by the tracks. Down by East River. And they were doing composting, and then the town of Henrietta wanted to move them over by the thruway on Middle Road. I don't know exactly where they are, or what happened to them. I
Uh-huh.
kinda lost track of them, but they were doing composting similar to this, leaves and all types of stuff. And the neighbors were kind of upset because of the smell, but they were within the confines of what they could do.
Yeah, but usually organic matter is, it smells okay until it has animal.
Right, that's where the smell comes from.
Yeah.
This.
So that was, that was a joint meeting with the Recycling Advisory Committee. Let me just go back to that farm thing for a minute because this whole connecting farmers with the consumers, right, you know, at the source of where it's grown is a direction that they were talking about. And I don't know if any of you shopped at Bishoping's stand, but oh my God, I loved Bishoping's stand and I felt like it was a pillar of the community and no more.
Yeah.
So his mom would prefer not to have the stand there anymore. So I've been talking to Brian about it. I'm trying to like come up with a solution. I haven't talked to him in a few weeks, but if you,
Would they be willing, but if they don't want it there, they don't want it there, right? Or are they willing? to
Right, no,
have-
she doesn't want it there.
but he was at the time when I saw him, he's deciding, okay, so am I growing? You know, because it's time to plant seeds and
Yeah,
you're
quite a bit of
thinking
land
about.
over at the
I know,
road.
why doesn't he
Yeah.
put it up on
Up.
Pinnacle?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Someone has to.
It has to be there.
Mrs.
Right.
Mack used to be at the corner of Goodville and Pinnacle,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
the old lady.
couple of self-service places, like on West Henrietta Road. There's one, I don't know if it's in Rush or it may be in Avon. But it's on, like, if you were heading south, it's on the left side of the road. It's a big structure, you know, like almost like a wagon covered.
It's where they
and
just
Red
had a
barn.
fire, where they had a fire.
Next door, they hit the fire.
The house.
They have
Yeah.
a lot of produce out there. and
Right.
Yeah, and I've been a number of places that are,
Yeah,
there's
it's-
one out in Clifton Springs. You know, a lot of them take Venmo now. You know, to pay for the produce. And so they put it out there, and, you know, they must be doing okay with it, with using, you know.
Gary's was too. I mean,
Yeah,
his,
Hopkins Farm on Clover Street, that's usually not bad. And they've got lots of stuff there, you know, on
Mhm.
Clover Street near Hopkins. I
Wow.
go there all the time.
I'll talk to him again about it next time I see him, but it's,
And
and
there's nothing.
right.
yeah,
No, it used to be Beaumont's every
right,
food.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Years ago, Jeff Winter had organized at the Rush Methodist Church. Once a week, there was a farmer's market, and then it came here to our parking lot, the town hall. But I guess they didn't do enough business.
Right.
That's all it was.
Right.
In only a few hours, I think they closed.
That
at 6.
really
I can't
didn't
get
do
there
well.
till
Yeah,
6.
that for some reason those there was at the church and then it
Yeah, but
never
the
did
hours
go
were too
well.
late. That's not really when a lot of people are shopping.
Right, it was like 2 to 4 or something,
Yeah.
True.
They-
something.
Sometimes no later than 6. I couldn't be there.
I looked into too, I was looking up community sourced agriculture, but there's a lot of rules and stuff about that though, you know, where people pay into it and then they go once a week and they get their whole
Well,
box
they used
of
to,
produce.
you know his name. Yeah.
Kyle did that, yeah.
Yeah.
You did it from him, didn't you, or did you?
Both of us,
One, you can say member.
yeah.
Cause I was gonna do it and then he,
Yeah. So anyway, yes, those are possibilities.
Yeah, so keep in the back of your mind if anyone's got a good idea. I'll reach out.
You all set, Beth?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, next is the Rush Cool.
Now,
They had
does
a
this say
workshop
who-
with the town
who
board,
does it?
Scott Strock and John Lembeck.
no, just the
Regarding
community, no, the
commercial,
organization.
See, here's
and
what they're
then
doing.
also the off-street parking.
Just really
and,
Oh, oh.
Substantial changes to tier
I
3
see.
solar code. Been meeting every 2 weeks.
Luther, we scheduled a workshop
David.
Oh,
for March. Wait. I think, I wanna say, I think March 12th. We scheduled a workshop for the off-season parking and so forth. Or not a workshop, a public hearing, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Public hearing. For comments and so forth. I think that's on 12. The solar side of it. John and Scott got together. They came up with some good ideas. We're gonna review them here this Saturday. With the solar group, and then. I don't think there'll be I don't think there'll be any changes from there. They put some good ideas together. I like them. But we'll go over the solar group and then we'll submit any comments back to Scott and John.
Yeah.
And then see if we get this tightened up. Making some modifications as to heights of trees. And how they gotta be maintained, life of them and so forth. Testing on PFAS. And potential contamination to the ground and or water. A few other things in there that change out, you know, broken panels need to be changed out relatively quick.
Is there a lot of contamination to the ground underneath them?
Well. I
Ja-
can't speak for the ones, generally, no.
Right.
Generally, no. What you gotta think of this is, when we talk about contamination, so it's not much different than your Teflon pans of the 70s and 80s. Right? Everybody used them, everybody cooked on the same things, PFAS. When it starts to chip off, you start eating that. Right? That's not good for you.
Right,
That's why you got rid of your Teflon pans, you put the
Right.
copper or so forth. PFAS is on the older ones and probably on Jeff Warner's and probably over on Howlett's. They use it for a coating so the snow and everything slides right off of it. It's in a hard dry form. But they crack. They
The
can,
older ones have that, not
right,
newer
the
ones.
ones that are projected to come. That are being made in Ohio we have been told that they are free of the PFAS. So they're using a different product on it. But for sake of argument, we're gonna have them. John and Scott came up with the idea, they'll put a well. On the property for monitoring well. And they can test the water right there.
Oh,
And then we'll do a little bit of testing on the outside edge of 500 feet away or something. For groundwater. And then take soil samples too. So we see what does happen. Because there is chemicals, in wiring, different things. Equipment is being used, you can have fuel spills, things like that. So while there isn't. I say it carefully, there isn't a high risk, there's a potential risk. For contamination, so we're just trying to dot the i's, cross the t's, and stay ahead of it.
well, because many farmers in Monroe County, if they're offered this, they're choosing this as an option. You can like look at solar farms, 20, 25 years down the road. Which when they've lived their normal life. That area could be returned to agriculture. But you raise some interesting points about contamination.
So, I mean, hopefully don't. The catch-22, God forbid they ever bring those. Solar battery, or those solar farm batteries here. That's. If the state shoves them down our throat, they're coming, but. That's. My daughter lived out in San Diego when those burned out there. And they were months burning.
So what are they? They go to the solar farm,
What
lithium batteries?
technically a solar farm. Is worthless, hear me out. A solar farm produces power during the day, it's like. So if that's hooked to the grid,
Right,
feeds the grid, right?
right.
Nighttime is worthless. Light. So they put the batteries in there, so the solar farms will charge the batteries during the day, plus feed the grid during the day. And then at night, the grid can pull the power off their batteries. Right? And
Why do they need power during the night?
well, the batteries feed the grid the power that the solar
During-
farm produces during the daytime. So it's storage.
Oh,
for-
okay, it's storing it, yeah, and then it goes
Right.
back into the grid.
And, so they're lithium batteries and they're huge and they're a nightmare. I think they put 800,000 gallons of water on that one in San Diego and it burned and it's still smoldering. It's. And then the people were all upset because they didn't know that was even in their neighborhoods. They had to keep the windows closed, they had all types of stuff. So hopefully we can avoid seeing them come to town, because if they do come to town. We're gonna. Try to have. Some things in place, but unfortunately, they will probably most likely come with the large solar fields. The town doesn't have a lot of say so.
Are they
You would
being,
correct me if
are
I'm-
they being widely used? These big lithium batteries?
Are
Are they being widely used?
there more and more,
And they use them in residential households too. For
right?
Like almost like a backup generator without having a generator.
They're very. They're very efficient,
Yeah,
right?
but when they catch fire, you can't put them out.
Until they catch
Right.
fire or something goes wrong, right? John at the Creekside, he has them down in Florida. And his power bill's like a buck. He actually makes money on it. And he's got batteries there, so during the hurricanes, he's still got power and everything still works nice. And it feeds the battery and the house feeds back to his house, but. They're small compared to what would come here. So.
Now, would those batteries be like in Horseshoe?
Horse,
Could be.
or
Could be.
yeah. Any of them could have
Yeah.
Ah,
corners, how that could have. Right now, there's just feeding the grid,
Mhm.
daytime hours. But that doesn't, and as of now, our town law says you can't even bring them into our town. So that's
Okay.
how Warners and Howlands don't have them. But the state
If
shoves
for-
horseshoe down our throat,
You don't have any control.
you can't do allow them. So, anyway, we're trying to be proactive and put things in place where we can help protect the areas.
And on another thing, from town board, what about the water district? Where does that stand? I wasn't there last.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Water
You asked about the water district.
Water district was gone, bye-bye.
Kaput.
Several, obviously,
Yeah.
We don't talk about it anymore in the house.
That's right, that's right.
the,
It was,
long story short of it is. I mean, you all remember, it started years ago. We got put our lap back here when we all took office. We didn't think it was. The train wreck that it was. We thought it was just a matter of everybody knew about it. We had to put it out for vote, you're gonna get yay or nay. Obviously, that wasn't the case. It was terrible communications over the years. Nobody seemed to know about it, so forth. A year ago, I was sitting over there and I talked to the engineer and he's here and they're saying, well, we need 10,000 more so we can put this out to a vote. And I asked him at that time, I go, what rock do you have figured into this? And they go, well, we got 1,000 tons. 1,000 tons? I go, you better go back and do your homework. Because everything on the south end of this town is rock. And I go, you want $10,000 to do this bid, you need to have the rock figured in here correctly. That was a year ago. Then they came back, put the thing in. The other day, I'm sitting down in Albany down there and I got my computer in front of me. And I'm looking at their proposal. Sure enough, I get down to one area. They didn't do a darn thing with rock. They go, after the proposal was voted yes, they would do test pits to determine the rock out there. So I have nothing better to do. I get on the company computer, pull up Google Maps, overlay the thing, and about 5 miles of rock that we're gonna play with. Now rock goes like this, right? But there's a lot of areas, it's surface. So I do a calculation on it. I go, okay, well, we got about 5 miles. I'm gonna take 3 miles. I'll take 3 miles. Then I go online and say, okay, blasting, what's the cost of blast rock? Put in the criteria, about $50 a foot to blast rock. One thing you gotta remember, once you blast rock, you can't take it back, you can't undo it. So once you fracture it, once that shock wave goes through and you fracture it, that guy here that wants to keep his well, and we're blasting in front of his house, we could just taking his water away from him. Right? So, look out places. 3 miles is $800,000. Oh, wait a minute, we haven't trucked the rock away yet. We only blasted it. And we gotta replace all that with sand or filter to go around the pipe. And you put plastic pipe in, which is terrible. But we're putting plastic pipe in, so that means it's gotta be better than sand and nice, right? So I called Chuck Wilcox up because he put the water line into the Rotary Sunshine Camp, which had to be blasted. I go, Chuck, what would be a good number for water line? Right? And we talked about it. He goes, better figure about $500 a yard to blast, excavate, replace the soil. $500 a yard. Yard's 27 square feet. I'll do a calculation. Right? Or basically boil down to every 1.5 feet is $500, right? So take 500 times 15,000. The numbers, and these people are having a fit over $80,000. The cost overrun on this job would be phenomenal. Remember, I
And
included
they'd
all
still
the,
be
I
on the
included
hook
the
for it,
section.
and they'd still be
Oh,
on the
yeah.
hook for it.
I only took a small section here, right, so. The other night, sitting here and I talked to Dan Chase, Dan Moore, I go, listen, I'm voting this down, I go, this is why. And they go, what? And so. We had that meeting, everybody's up there talking. Finally, the engineer sitting over where Pat was, I go, how much rock you figure in this thing here? I go, because I don't see anything in here. Well, what we had in there before, I go, that was 1,000 yards, right? Yeah, something like that. I go, okay, so then I went on my little spiel about the 3 miles and so. I'm not voting for it, this is done. I go, these, you can't have these people pay for that stuff. That's, they had stuck to their original plan of small water districts. A lot of it probably could have gotten done. But because they. In a theory wise, it was a great idea to try and give everybody water. The trouble is, we got that bedrock and dolomite rock down there.
But even then, they weren't planning to do that, you know, the last material that I saw. I mean, for example, just speaking for myself, my street wasn't on it, and we have water right at the cross street
Yeah.
on Lions Road, and yet we were not considered to be part of the district.
Yeah, I don't know how they came up with the.
Well,
Lines.
the questionnaires and how many people responded to it, right?
I thought it had to do with the survey.
No, but
They,
Wardell Road, people wanted it. I saw
oh,
the survey
really?
results.
On the survey?
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. That was my understanding, was that it came from the surveys that they had sent out.
Did that
long
change
ago,
at
but-
some point where people in smaller districts voted yay or nay to having one big?
No, I
No,
think we
it's
were just
just-
surveying on did we want it and what would willing to pay.
What does it cost now of, when I built my house, I put in, I think 360 feet of 8-inch ductile iron. And
Mhm.
I remember it was $20 a foot to put it in.
Right. You're probably up around, with engineering and everything, you're probably about $75 a foot. for Engineering.
Do
But
you put in water or it's
Yeah,
well?
I extended it.
Oh, you
I
did?
put a lot of water main in up Guy's Road.
I took it past my driveway, so, if I ever got it extended, wouldn't have to tear my driveway up.
Which direction does it come from?
It
Pinnacle?
came from Louise's off of Pinnacle
From
Road.
Pinnacle.
That's where it ended, right there at Louise's. So then they picked it up there, brought it up over the hill, and I'm the last one there.
The, and then the other thing was the plastic pipe. That's the last thing we really want. Plastic pipe has its own unique characteristics to it. We would be better off with the old, asbestos pipe than plastic. The, what do they call that, anyway. Plastic pipe creates a field when the water passes through it. And I can put a glass of water here, be spotless, drink it, wouldn't see anything, but let water sit enough. Particles drop out of it, right? Plastic pipe works like a magnet. And it pulls those particles out of it. If you ever opened up a water pipe that's plastic, the bottom of it's brown. Right? Monmouth County has to keep flushing a lot of them to keep that stuff out of it. So, and then when it does break, it doesn't just break, it splits, it goes right down the length of the pipe. And it's just a miserable process. It's cheaper for a reason.
What's the lifetime of it? Do you know?
Well, in a perfect world, it's probably a lifetime for a long time. But ductile iron has been around for a long time and they've got very few problems with it.
I hope all that information you just shared will come across on the Zoom, and I don't know that people will watch it, but that was a lot of important
Yeah.
information you just shared.
It was.
Yeah.
So,
Recording, so.
And
It
it's,
sounds-
and that's right, this is being recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know,
Yeah.
but sometimes you can't hear people unless they're really speaking
Oh,
into a
yeah.
microphone.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you, Pat, I'm sorry.
I don't think I said anything except I'm wanting to thank you. Another topic, but well before last year, you said Pay attention to bird flu. Look at it.
Yeah,
now.
right, yeah,
You were way ahead of the time.
that's
I
right.
was thinking on the way here tonight, but Kathy Chase has the flu and she has 200 chickens. I was thinking about that tonight. I seen her today. She looked like terrible.
It's bad. I mean, we've had a couple of people here, even just with, with flu, but yeah. It's been bad.
Tree committee,
No, just, I told you about I'm sorry, I don't know the exact name. It's not old growth forest because it's not quite that old, but that designation and just that they're now we're officially a tree city.
Hmm.
So they did the work in order for us to get that status that's aligned with the Arbor Day tree city, so yeah, they're gonna be watching the trees in our town.
any other business?
At some point, I hope the members of this board will get email addresses that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I haven't fully heard anything about it. I don't know if you know anything, Luther, about the town email addresses for the conservation board? Did you hear anything about that?
I've not heard a word about that.
Okay, all right, so I had made a comment to Sharon, because she was actually the one that I believe had gotten the other one set up. I will double check back with her. I know she was going to put it in the budget or at least try to get it in the budget. I'm not sure where that went. So, but it didn't. Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay.
So our emails are at risk because they're all our personal emails.
My understanding is, anything could be foilable. I don't fully know all of the rules about it. That's why I always tell all of you, don't do a lot of emailing from your personal, emails, not necessarily about conservation board, information that you send. I don't think that's the type of information. It's more of a, if you're talking about a project in your
Oh.
personal email and you send it, say, to the other board members or,
Which I did say.
Yeah,
well, you mean like what you just sent tonight? I wouldn't say that was, I mean, like your own personal opinions to other people. I don't really fully know the law myself about it. I do know that, we have definitely spent a lot of money to at least get the, two of the subboards, the email addresses. It's definitely something that we can bring up again, though, to the supervisor and just, basically, I would say refrain from opinionated type information that might be heard on a meeting. Because that could be for.
Only to these people though, correct? Like what if I send an opinion to a friend?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
To
anything
this
that
group.
has to do with the town, that is, it's foilable. So the Freedom of Information Act does come through.
Well, like in the old days, if you sent a letter on letterhead to the town board, that would be foilable and that would include your address. If, assuming you put that in your letterhead. If you put your phone number in your letterhead, that would be part of what was foilable, yeah.
I think it's like anything else though, is due diligence, like you were saying, you talked to a friend. If you were gonna make a decision based on something you were gonna vote on. You may not wanna put that out in public, but I'm gonna vote against that, I'm not gonna be part of this. I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have any part of it, we're voting this down, I'll make sure. I wouldn't wanna put something like that out there, go, you say, well, I disagree with it, and we'll see what happens. It's just for in case it gets out, because you represent a town board operative here, right? You're one of the members, right?
Mhm.
So you can have your opinion to your sister and say, boy, Luther was a jerk there at me, there, whatever. Yeah,
Never did.
but
I know, we wouldn't say. any-
I think, anything between the other members, you could probably send your,
Keep it
Idea.
professional.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
a perfect way to say it.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. I wouldn't worry honestly about, this was factual. This
Yeah, it was very
this
factual.
zoning code that you had, pretty much factual. So, and the rest were environmental issues that you discuss here. So I would not be concerned, Pat. I don't know, I don't do a lot of the FOIL requests. I do occasionally if it's about a project from a previous year or whatever, but, I don't believe there are many that come in regards to email correspondence or, I mean, I haven't been privy to that, so I don't think that's a huge, factor or concern.
Okay. Move that we adjourn our meeting of the Rush Conservation Board for Thursday, February 13th, 2025.
Second,
All right, Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
aye,
Member Woolever,
I.
Member Hope,
I
Member Kraus.
I have the day off.
Aye.
Oh, okay.